just turned 18 a few months back. With that, I also finished my school, my exams, and my college applications. While waiting for the results, I couldn't help but ponder over my teen years, look back at the learnings I took, the emotions I went through, the experiences I was grateful for, and the mistakes I made, shaping me into what I am today. What does it mean to be a teenager? Your parents pressure you to succeed. Your friends pressure you to do things you don't want to do. Social media pressures you to hate your body. Basically, a set of standards that guide your life, especially at a time when you want to explore things for yourself. I agree, it can be the hardest chapter in your life. This is a chapter that governs your future. Cognitive neuroscientist and teen brain expert Sarah Blakemore represented adolescence as a perfect storm, thanks to the simultaneous and sudden increase in hormonal changes, neural changes, social changes, and the pressures of life. What's more, it's your body experiencing these changes for the very first time, so it's uncharted territory. It's indeed a wonder you and I made intact through this phase. So definitely we should be proud of ourselves. So congratulations to all of us. On a serious note, taking into consideration another perspective, if you ask adults what do they think of teens today, you'd hear answers like teens are rebellious, they're loud, obnoxious, they don't know what they're doing, they're too mature for their age, they don't know what real love is, they procrastinate the tasks assigned to them, they're also creating problems in the society, or maybe they're just too busy with social media. All this used to fuel up my mind a few months back. But now, when I think about it calmly, I realize there is some honesty to a lot of this, only because teens are impulsive. That is their biggest virtue, their greatest flaw, and the root cause to a lot of opinions associated with them. It doesn't matter how smart they are, good judgment isn't something they can excel in, at least not yet. Adults think with the prefrontal cortex of the brain, the part which makes rational decisions, while teens think with the emotional part of the brain, that is the amygdala. Because the rational part in the teen's brain is not developed, it is not fully matured. That's why when teens have overwhelming emotional input, they can't explain later what they were thinking, because they weren't thinking as much as they were feeling. Teenage is about finding the right balance between two ends of a spectrum. One where you have too much power, where you might be labeled as an egotist, maybe a snob, or you might even start behaving like a bully. You may be called egotist and you might immerse in the internet, on the social media, and you might be more prone to experience FOMO. It also makes you believe and absorb the information that is present on the internet and social media more, and you don't think rationally what is actually right and what is wrong. On the other hand, you may feel chronically powerless, inadequate, useless, or clumsy, and can easily develop severe helplessness. Naturally, this is perplexing and confusing, which often leads teenagers to think that they can't do anything to bring about a change. Changing the world isn't an easy task, and it is extremely daunting. However, I believe that if anyone, even if someone who is a lazy teenager puts their mind to it, they can make a difference, even though in the slightest manner possible. I say this with utmost conviction because during my teen years, I have been a part of various global collaborative projects, climate action programs, video conferences with teens from international partner schools, and entrepreneurial ventures, all led by teens aimed at building a better and brighter future. My experience with BP Global STEM Academies 2019 has been another enlightening experience in context to the unimaginable potential teens have. Spending a month in Egypt with a host family and 40 other teenage students from different parts of the world, I saw the butterfly effect come to action. Collaborating on different UN SDGs, implementing solutions at our level, motivating, guiding, and empathizing with each other we clearly built a small community which was clear to achieve the goal they wanted. That is, a peaceful and prospective society. Sounds quite far-fetched, right? But I'll tell you why it isn't. Because once the first domino falls, it leaves the others with no choice but to follow in pursuit, and the others have to follow. On returning to India, after a few months, lockdown happened, and that is when another idea popped into this restless brain of ours. Since the pandemic was inducing a considerable degree of frustration, worry, concern, and this was all because there was uncertainty almost around everything, along with my 3 peers, we came with a student-led virtual global platform called Amygdala, Let the Mind Bloom. This initiative was solely rooted to promote interconnectivity, comprehensive awareness regarding mental health, and providing a perspective to those who felt lost. For long, mental health has been neglected, stigmatized, and overlooked. What it needed was more sunlight, more candor, and more unashamed conversation. With this thought, we conducted regular webinars and sessions by doctors, experienced professionals, and professors on different topics like stress, anxiety, imposter syndrome, self-love, and even mental breakdowns. What began as a small thought has now cultivated into a fruitful community of students unafraid of opening about their struggles with mental health. I felt happy to be part of a campaign which could bring smiles on the faces of the ones who felt distressed and needed support. This entire journey was brought to fruition with the power of social media to bring change, to connect, to meet people from all over the world who are as passionate as you about the same topics. Making the world a better place isn't easy, and it can take a while to see progress. But don't feel discouraged. With technology today, we are joined by millions of students just like us who care just as much as we do. Youth-based organizations led by teenagers like the Young Writers Initiative, Global Youth Action Network, the Project Exchange are not only doing wonders, but leaving a niche in the hearts of others and inspiring them to harness their abilities to the fullest. To conclude, I would like to say a small word to all the adults present here. When you look back on your teen years, to the person who steered you towards what you are today, the person who decided your course of life, I hope you will feel grateful for the experiences you had, for the opportunities, for the mistakes, for the learnings, for the relationships you built, for the people that guided you. I would leave you by saying, please don't be hard on teens. They are not a bunch of wacky, responsible kids, but they have an irresistible energy, which if put to good use can create miracles. And lastly, to all the teens sitting here, just remember, at the end of this chapter, you have the power to be an extraordinary collection of atoms, to have existed in all this chaos. Because when I look back, while I still feel a bit embarrassed, I realize how far I have come. And the often used phrase, "it is all just a phase," really starts to make a lot more sense now. I wish I told the 13-year-old me, it's okay to cry, it's okay to feel sad and depressed, it's okay to fall, it's okay to make mistakes. Because it is a phase from which you'll come out stronger, more experienced, and more courageous to face the real challenges of life. Thank you.